Well, the bicycle and pedestrian network in Fort Wayne is truly unique because it's been a ground up citizen led effort really from the very beginning. It kind of reminds me of the city that saved itself quote that we hear from the flooding. Um, Back in the 70s and 80s, Fort Wayne actually kind of led the curve in the state of Indiana because there was a citizens group that was interested in preserving green space along the rivers, and they were responsible for getting the original River Greenway built. They actually found people who were willing to take bulldozers out to the rivers, and they pointed where they wanted the trails to go, and that was how the original River Greenway was put in place. And luckily, we do have that space still preserved today along the rivers for everyone to enjoy. Once we saw that we were actually connecting the trails together, it became time, instead of having three groups, to really unify things under an umbrella organization. So discussions began to have one group that was countywide, and just in January of 2011, the Fort Wayne Trails organization was formed. Again, the volunteers all saw really just the need to serve the greater good with Fort Wayne Trails, so that the three organizations dissolved and merged into one, Fort Wayne Trails. So today, our mission it's really literally to put Fort Wayne on the map, literally and figuratively, as a livable city, a place where people want to live, work, play, and not only the trail network, but our bicycle infrastructure and really what we call our active transportation network is just a huge part of what attracts talent to this city, what retains people of all ages here, and what allows us to live that active kind of vibrant lifestyle now that people want. Yeah, Fort Wayne Trails, looking into the future, has really set its sights on two things. One of those is a cultural shift towards active living. A lot of health organizations speak to making the healthy choice the easy choice. And we think about how busy our lives are today and the importance of integrating activity into our day-to-day lives rather than it having to be this extra thing that people don't even get to. It's really, to have to drive to the gym to work out is really not as productive as something like being able to bike to work, because it's integrating it into our lifestyle. There are mental benefits to our well-being when we're able to do things like that. And secondly, besides the cultural shift, we have a lot of goals for the bike and pedestrian infrastructure still. We believe at Fort Wayne Trails that everyone deserves to have the ability to walk or bike regardless of their age, their gender, their ethnicity, their geographic location. A bike and pedestrian system is really an equalizer amongst our population, and it's important to respect all of our citizens and give them a public space where they can be mobile, where they can interact with each other, and where they can appreciate their community. There's actually a lot of studies about social engagement in public spaces, and creating those spaces like Carol Coletta talks about that facilitate creative interactions. I did a study with students years ago, and we were out on city streets, and we greeted every person that we saw on the city street and recorded the response. And then we went on to a trail and repeated that very same experiment. And the results were actually flip-flopped. About 20% of the people that we greeted on a city street made eye contact and waved hello when we got into their personal space, versus over 80% of people that we saw on the trail kind of felt that common bond. And when you approach that space where you could either look away or say hello, people on a trail will greet each other. You feel like you have some kind of common ground already just by the public space that is there. So there's so many implications there for ideas, for entrepreneurship, for just creative living.